Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, yeah. Testing audio test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Audio. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio check 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing podium microphones. This is an audio test. 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Hey, hey. Audio test 1, 2. Hey, hey. Hey, yeah. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Hey, hey. Testing 1, 2. Hey, hey. Test. Audio check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Hey, hey. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Check. 1, 2.
They're on and locked. They're muted currently. He has your control.
Okay, mics. There's.
Thank you.
They're hand mics. There are 4 of them. So we should just pick up here and stand socially distant as much as we can. They're on mute right now.
I mean,
and when we're ready to walk up there.
At the moment.
Oh, sorry. How much time do we have? We just got handed the mics.
Every day is so wonderful. Suddenly.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. So let's get ourselves situated.
I'm gonna get used to.
Whoever's comfortable holding.
We'll take one, right?
Yeah. Let's just make sure a soloist has one at any given time. Otherwise, just try.
No matter what they say.
This is as long as we make sure they win. Okay, so follow me on stage and let's figure out a formation. Okay.
I am beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can't bring me down. No. So don't you bring me down today.
Had some unfortunate knots that we cut out, so we have a late summer shortcut.
Okay. Let's see. Dana, can you slide this way just to hear more? Thank you. I think she's going to...
Oh, Sarah, yes.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
So Sarah can also be on the mic.
Yeah.
A million things in my pockets. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Here. I'm gonna walk it. That's gonna be fun. Okay. Imagine all the people we stand on. I'm not sure that we're gonna do far. Let's just, okay, just for the sake of, Okay, so just tell all of us.
A window
To step out of the shoe.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay, and then can you stand by Diana?
Yes.
So that you can.
So let me
I know it's not just you directing, but since you're directing some of the songs. Why don't I stand on this
Oh,
side?
okay, great. She's going to be up there, so we don't have to have a window.
Why don't I stand on that side?
Cool. Okay. Okay.
because
I should not hold this.
then I'll
So just let us know what
I'll go in the other side.
trilogy.
maybe solo mic, and then I'll pass it. I'll pass it to you.
Guide my feet. Do this, yeah. Guide my feet. Okay. So you should sing into a mic.
Either you have a solo.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you gonna hold the mic?
I can do it when it gets to me. Yeah. Nikki has a solo stand by me.
I remember you come in and so stand. So it's a pickup.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're not socially distant, but you know.
Can you switch so that Sarah can sing into a mic on Guide My Feet? Okay, mics are for me. Nikki.
Can you touch the mic?
Don't forget to sing into it on Guide My Feet. We're about to do Guide My Feet. Yeah. Okay.
That's first.
Ready?
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. 'Cause I'm your child while I run this race. I'm your child while I run this race. I'm your child while I run this race. And I don't want to run this race in vain. So stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. No, I don't want to run this race in vain.
Change.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change won't come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to my brother and I say, brother, won't you help me, please? But he winds up knocking me right back, right back on my knees. Oh, there's been times when I felt I couldn't last for long. Now I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Said I know change has to come.
Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. And I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. Well, it looks like it might be a long night, but I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going, and I know it's gonna be a hard fight, but I will stay right here. I will stay, I will shine a light in the darkest hour, face the man in the tallest tower. Well, it looks like it might be a long night. You know I ain't going nowhere. I will work, I will fight, I will strive in the name of love. I will speak, I will shout, I will sing it to the skies above. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. And I know it's gonna be a long time until the last one of us is free. But I will hold on tight, stay by your side. I will be with you for this whole damn ride. Well, it looks like it might be a perilous climb, but I will follow your lead. Looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. Gonna walk, and I know you might have a heavy load, but I can carry some too. I will lift you up when they push you down. I will raise my voice and stand my ground. Well, it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. I will walk, I will climb, shine my light the whole night through, because it looks like it might be a hard road, but I'm gonna walk it with you. That's right. Oh, I'm gonna walk it with you. Oh, I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you.
Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Oh, imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Oh, imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, oh, but I'm not the only one. I hope one day you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A sisterhood of women. No, imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, oh, but I'm not the only one. I hope one day you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
One more? One more, okay. quiet. Okay, next.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old in the water, let
I'm Cantor Rosalie Will, honored to lead you in a ritual of Havdalah, which is the separation between the Sabbath, which is ending, and the week to come. And this is something all people, regardless of your faith, but we know you have faith because you're here, can sing. La 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la. Our first blessing over the wine, which reminds us of the sweetness of blessings and the sweetness of our memories. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. The jarring scent of the spices reminds us of our struggle and agitates us to continue to do our holy work. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei besamim borei minei besamim borei minei besamim la 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 ya la 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 la. And the Havdalah candle reminds us that it only takes one light to shatter the darkness. But with so many lights brought together, we can create a fire. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh la 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 la. The lights look beautiful. La 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 la. And finally, we say a goodbye. We take this flame and we drop it into the wine, but we know the flame has not truly been extinguished because it lives on in our hearts. And so we say this final goodbye. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol hamavdil ben kodesh lechol hamavdil ben kodesh lechol la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la ya la 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 la.
Thank you, Rabbi Jonah Pesner. I'm Rabbi Esther Letterman, and I'm here with the Union for Reform Judaism and the National Council of Jewish Women. We gather tonight to mourn Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, feminist icon, hero to millions, wife, mother, bubby, a child of an immigrant and a Jew, the first Jewish female justice on the Supreme Court. The shofar we just sounded awakens in us the call for justice. Justice Ginsburg knew the pain of injustice. She faced anti-Semitism and gender discrimination. She dedicated her life to stopping such discrimination against others. As a lawyer, Ruth Bader Ginsburg successfully argued 6 landmark gender discrimination cases at the Supreme Court. Her efforts put our country on a more righteous path. Justice Ginsburg was powerful, even when her views did not prevail, on landmark cases that addressed pay discrimination, religious freedom, and voting rights. Yes, those voting rights we cannot take for granted this November 3rd. She had this to say about the art of the dissent. Dissents speak to a future age. The greatest dissents do become court opinions, and gradually over time, their views become the dominant view. So that's the dissenter's hope, that they are writing not for today, but for tomorrow. Justice Ginsburg helped lead us into tomorrow. Justice Ginsburg died on the cusp of a Jewish New Year. As a faith that follows a lunar calendar, our New Year falls on a new moon. New moons are invisible to the naked eye. We mark the timing of this holiday that evokes renewal and creation with something we can't see, but know is there, with the faith that we will see its brightness shine upon us again. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we will no longer see you at the opera or hear you ask questions from the bench, but we know you are here, and each and every one of us. Your name will eternally be for a blessing. Our children and grandchildren and generations to come will grow up learning your name, guided by your legacy of feminism, justice, and righteousness. Rest in peace, Justice Ginsburg. May your memory be a revolution.
Good evening. I'm Rabbi Ilana Zeitman of Gather, D.C. I also happen to have grown up in the same synagogue that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg did years before me in Brooklyn, New York, where at a young age she was already using her voice to stand up for others. Just this morning, at Rosh Hashanah prayer services, Jews around the world bringing in the new year recited this line: "The great shofar will be sounded, and the still, small voice will be heard." This verse reminds us that power comes from many places, but especially from the often overlooked voices. Justice Ginsburg was our country's shofar. She made us pay attention to so many underestimated voices fighting for justice and equality. As we mourn this great, great loss, let us also feel empowered by Justice Ginsburg's resounding legacy. May it ignite us to continue her pursuit of justice for all people now and for generations to come. Zichrona livracha. May her memory be a blessing always. On Rosh Hashanah, we're told that it's a mitzvah to hear the shofar over 100 times. So I'm going to blow the shofar again for RBG.
Good evening. My name is Cantor Jason Kaufman. and with a heavy heart, I will lead us in the mourner's Kaddish, a traditional Jewish prayer that we say in loving memory for those who have passed. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach urtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayed chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitnaman v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'akol yoshvei tevel. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Oh, good people. How are you doing this evening? I want to say, well, first off, my name is Kelly Robinson. I'm the Executive Director for Planned Parenthood Action Fund, and I am honored, thank you, I am honored to be here with you all tonight. Thank you especially to our people that are celebrating the New Year, Rosh Hashanah. Thank you so much for the blessings to lead us off this evening. It particularly stuck with me when our speakers shared, it only takes one light to shatter the darkness, but we are many. Good people, look around. I needed you tonight. I know so many of us needed this space, this moment, this community tonight because we have got to pull each other through and uphold the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So tonight, we are gathered here to mourn the giant that we have lost. Her death has been, of course, an incredible loss to our country and our movement and for her family. 27 years she served on the court. 27 years she spent in this building behind us. Throughout her entire career, she never wavered in her determination to protect the rights and freedoms of every single person in this country. So yes, tonight we mourn, but tonight we also prepare to fight. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's legacy cannot, must not, and will not end with her. We, good people, we are her legacy in her own words. I would like to be remembered as someone who used whatever talent she had to do her work to the very best of her ability and to help repair the tears in her society, to make things just a little bit better. And through that work, she did more than making things a little bit better. She transformed this country. Standing before you as a black woman, as a queer woman, I can tell you that she allowed this country to get just a little bit closer to fulfilling its promise to me, to my people, to the communities I come from, to my family, and to the generations that will follow. So yes, people, we are here tonight and we are going to honor the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her life, her legacy, and her dying wish not to fill her seat until a new president is inaugurated. You know, as I was on my way here, those words that they commence every Supreme Court session with came to me. All rise, they say, before the session begins. And I just think this is a moment where we have got to rise, my friends. We've got to rise and carry on her fight. We've got to rise and honor her wishes. We've got to rise and ensure that this democracy is upheld for people like you and people like me and people that need the rights secured in this country. We've got to rise. Are you ready to rise? We've got to rise and we've got to do it together. And tonight is about building that community to hold us as we do. So I'm excited to start tonight off, and I'm really thrilled to have so many speakers here that represent the breadth and the depth of our community and the work that we've got to do to uphold her legacy moving forward. Our first speaker tonight is going to be Jasmine Clemens, an abortion rights advocate with Planned Parenthood Action Fund. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I don't really want to be up here today. In my heart of hearts, I thought Justice Ginsburg would live forever. So yesterday's news was devastating. But when Ambalika from Planned Parenthood called me and asked me to tell my story, I drove down from Baltimore because, of course, the life that Justice Ginsburg lived, even before she hit the court, made my life and all of our lives we're living now possible. And so being raised by a family of women, my mom, my aunts, my dear grandmother, Rupert Richardson, they always taught me to use my voice, to tell my story, to fight back. So I'm going to tell you all why Planned Parenthood and the work that Justice Ginsburg did to protect that institution means so much to me. When I was in college, in my 20s, I was madly in love, but on birth control. But things happened, and I found out I was pregnant. And I knew instantly what the right decision was for me. I was working retail. I was in college part-time. I didn't even know what my major was going to be. So my partner and I were like, we're not ready to be parents. There was no question what I needed to do and wanted to do. So my first call, like many women, was to my gynecologist. But the nurse, when I asked where could I go to get abortion services, because I had no clue, she said that doctor's office wouldn't help me with any such decision. So then my next move was to go to the old school phone book and go to AA and abortion and call the abortion clinic in town only to find out abortion costs more than my rent. So at this point, I'm clueless. And I'm walking on campus and I see a sign that says, pregnant, need help? So I go to this office that's near campus and I sit in a room with a woman and she starts asking me all kinds of questions. Where's your parents? What religion do you believe in? Do you think God agrees with your decision? And I was instantly insulted, enraged, and hurt because I came to this woman for help. And she wasn't there to help me at all. She was judging me, just like that nurse did when I called. And I had unknowingly walked into a crisis pregnancy center. So I left there, the clock is ticking. And to this day, I don't know what inspired me to do so, but I thought to call my health insurance. And I was so lucky to have an employer health insurance plan that would cover part of my abortion. I had to drive hours away. I had to take off work, still spend money, walk through crowds of anti-abortion activists, but I was treated with compassion, without judgment, and with care. And I made the best decision for my life, my future, and my body. That was made possible because of women like Justice Ginsburg. And I know there's people thinking this is an opportunity for them to cram through another justice. Well, we all know that Justice Ginsburg's dying wish was to wait. And we're going to help make sure her wish is granted. We are here tonight to grieve, to mourn, to honor, and celebrate one woman's lifetime of work. But we're also here to unite and fight and find the energy to remind Trump and Mitch McConnell that this is our country and that this is our democracy and we have the power. So after we wipe our tears, we are going to unite together because we have the power and we're going to protect not just our right to reproductive choice, not just our right to vote, not just our right to love the people we want to love, but also to protect the women that ICE is forcibly sterilizing, the children locked in cages, and everything else our Constitution tells us belongs to each and every citizen of this country. So let's stand up and speak out, because we are going to stop Trump, we're going to stop Mitch McConnell, and we are going to get every person we know to vote, because this, and no exaggeration, is the most important election of our lifetimes. Thank you.
Please welcome Sonia Spoo from Ultraviolet.
Sanitation, hold on, y'all. Safety first. So, thank you, our justice people, for gathering here tonight. It is an honor to stand before you in the shadow of this complex building behind me, to honor Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, our champion. My name is Sonia Spoo, and I am the campaign director at Ultraviolet, a 1.2 million strong feminist advocacy organization. RBG spent her life fighting for us. Now we need to take up that mantle and fight like hell to protect the collective path toward liberation we've all been going toward. These are dark times. It is easy to give in to despair, but despair clouds our eyes to purpose and narrows our arteries for change. So as we say in my faith tradition, joy cometh in the morning. And while we battle this dark night, as we battle through it together, we have a common cause and committed hearts that keeps all manners of monsters at bay. So we are called to mourn with action. This is not a fight for the next 45 days, but a fight for the next 45 years. We've been here before. The stakes have always been high. When RBG was growing up, women could not have a mortgage in their name. Women could not have credit cards taken out without a man co-signing for them. We were denied entrance to all the halls of power. And for many of us, we could not even exercise agency over our own reproductive freedom and lives, and how or when or why we structure our families. She was one of the many champions, because let's not get twisted here. We are standing on, she and every one of us was standing on the shoulders of Black and brown and indigenous women and organizing giants that go way back. But she was one of the many champions, critical champions, who fought through that hardship to change the world, to increase access to opportunity for all of us. And that is what is at stake today, right now, this election, this year. Our reproductive freedom is at stake. Our health care is at stake. Our voting rights are at stake. Our economic rights are at stake. Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell have already shown they have no respect for the rule of law, our Constitution, or progress, or the ways in which our nation has grown toward liberation for women, people of color, indigenous communities, LGBTQ communities, immigrants, and all of us. So we have to leave everything on the floor and fight like hell. We must work to win on November 3rd. Yes, voting is foundational. Ignore the noise that tell you it is not. But we must also hold the line against attempts to besmirch RBG's legacy and deny her dying wish that no one be installed on the Supreme Court until another president is sworn in. But make no mistake, the work does not end when we get a new president. Once we do that, we must work to reform our institutions, including the Supreme Court of the United States, in order to be actually representative of the people and diversity and beauty of this great nation. So while the stakes are high for everyone in this moment, they are more so, just being honest, they are more so for us Black, brown, indigenous, poor, Muslim, immigrant, and trans women, as we face the true brunt of the cruelty of the unfettered white supremacist agenda. So stand with us. In the name of the triumph and trial that dwell within my black body, I am ready. Are you? Are you? Let her name be a revolution, but in the name of all the elders and all the ancestors who came before us, we must not give in. We must continue to fight. Don't give in to despair, but organize toward joy. We are all we got, but we are all we need. Thank you.
Yes, yes, we are all we've got, but we are all we need. Please welcome next Ana Martinez from CASA.
Good evening. My name is Ana Martinez, lead organizer for CASA in Action, the largest immigrant rights organization in the Mid-Atlantic region, and a member for Center for Popular Democracy in Action. Tonight we're here to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who has left us a legacy that we must protect. When I first heard the news, I felt a sense of fear for our future, while at the same time empowered by how one woman could have such a big impact in all of our lives. She didn't fight for gender equality because it was easy. She did it because it was the right thing to do, and she continued until her last day. RBG is a reminder that even though we have a hard time ahead, we should remain strong, organized, and work as a collective to make sure we protect the rights of everyone. Not only is Ginsburg important when it comes to women's rights, she played an important role standing with immigrants, including the recent Supreme Court regarding DACA and the census. When President Trump first announced the cancellation of DACA, I was near so many different young people that were shedding tears because of the fear for their future. Immigrants continue to stand strong during these difficult times, and she will be missed for all she has done for us. As we approach for the election, I ask everyone to go out and vote as if your life depends on it, because it does. Today we grieve, and tomorrow we're gonna fight. Para Ruth Bader Ginsburg, gracias por haber dedicado tu vida para mejorar las vidas de nosotras y darnos el ejemplo de cómo ser una mujer poderosa. Usted nos mostró el camino y nosotras seguiremos sus pasos en la lucha para defender los derechos de todos. Muchas gracias.
Please welcome the Senator from Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren.
Here tonight to mourn Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was an icon. She was a trailblazer. She was a role model. She was a friend. We are here tonight to grieve, but not to despair. There is too much at stake going forward. Roe versus Wade, the Dreamers, health care for millions of Americans, the right to join a union, racial justice, economic equality, the right to vote. Our very democracy is on the line. 4 years ago, Mitch McConnell told us would be no vote in the United States Senate on a Supreme Court nominee because our president had only 1 year in office, and every Republican stood with him in the United States Senate. Today, Mitch McConnell and his henchmen believe that they can ram through a Supreme Court justice only 45 days from the election. Mitch McConnell believes that this fight is over. What Mitch McConnell does not understand is this fight has just begun. Yes, Ruth Ginsburg was an icon. She was a trailblazer. But you know what I love best about Ruthie? She was a fighter. Ruth fought for the right of every woman in this country to make her own decisions about her body. And she never gave up on that fight. Tonight is not the moment to cheer, but tonight is the moment to say from the heart, with conviction, to ourselves and anyone who's listening, when it comes to the fight to protect a woman's right to choose, I will fight. Say it deep and from your heart. I will fight. One more. I will fight. And one more. I will fight. And when it comes to fighting for the right of workers to come together, to bargain collectively, to make their voices heard in the workplace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought, say it from your heart in her memory, I will fight. Once more. I will fight. And one more time. I will fight. And when it comes to protecting our dreamers, when it comes to protecting those who are here, who came to our shores, who have made a home here, Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought, and in her memory, say it tonight, I will fight. I will fight. Once more. I will fight. And when it comes to protecting health care for tens of millions of people across this nation, Ruth Ginsburg was in the fight. So say it in her memory, I will fight. I will fight. I will fight. And Ruth's last wish was that her replacement not be named until after the inauguration. So in her memory, say to Mitch McConnell, when he thinks he can ram through a Supreme Court justice 45 days before an election, I will fight. Again, I will fight. And one more time. I will fight. It is an honor to be in this fight with you in Ruth's memory.
One more time for the senator. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren. We've got Women's March here tonight. Please welcome Tabitha St. Bernard Jacobs.
Thank you so much, Senator Warren. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an unapologetic, fearless champion for women's rights and gender equality. She was an icon, a hero, and an inspiration for countless women and girls across the country, including the millions who marched with us. She gave feminism a voice on the Supreme Court and transformed what's possible for women in the United States. Her passing is a profound loss, but her legacy will live on. Before we've even had a chance to grieve for Justice Ginsburg, Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell are already scheming to fill her seat. This is everything we've been warning about. This is everything we've been warning about since day one of Trump's presidency. We aren't exaggerating. This is why we marched. This is the moment we've been preparing for. What's at stake in the fight ahead is clear. If Trump and the Republicans are allowed to appoint another justice, Roe v. Wade will be overturned. It's that simple, and we won't let that happen. The best way to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg is to stop Mitch McConnell and Trump from stealing her seat. It was literally Justice Ginsburg's dying wish that her seat not be filled until the next administration is sworn in. We will do whatever it takes to make that wish come true. We will do whatever it takes to stop them from holding hearings and make sure that the people's voices are heard on November 3rd. We will make sure that women's voices are heard on November 3rd. We will answer Justice Ginsburg's call to action the exact way she would have wanted, the exact way she paved the way for us to do, by translating the fury of women into progress for women. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for us. Now it's time for us to carry on her fight. Thank you.
Please welcome Vanita Gupta, the head of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights.
It is so great to be here tonight. Look at this crowd. Thank you for all for coming out for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm Vanita Gupta. I'm head of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. And tonight I am here to be with you in community and to remember and honor the legacy of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As we gather here before the Supreme Court, under the words, equal justice under law, we remember that this is an ideal that Justice Ginsburg fought for every day of her life. What a legacy she leaves us. We lost a hero yesterday, but thanks to her, we gained so much. Justice Ginsburg dedicated her entire career on and off the court to protecting the rights of women, LGBTQ people, communities of color, and so many more. She advanced justice for millions and millions in America. She was a warrior long before she went on the Supreme Court. I followed in her footsteps as a lawyer at the American Civil Liberties Union. She was often alone, leading the charge in a crusade where few were next to her. She inspired me to become a lawyer, to fight for equality and civil rights. Her landmark opinions moved us ever so much more closely to a perfect union, and her wisdom reminds us that the Supreme Court belongs to all of us, not to any party or any politician. In these times of great uncertainty, in a global pandemic that is disproportionately hurting Black and brown families, structural racism and state violence, authoritarianism, we have Justice Ginsburg's incredible legacy to remind us that we must work together to build a future that is better for us, for our children, for our grandchildren. We know that everything is at stake. Our civil rights, our democracy, our election, our bodies. We will honor Justice Ginsburg's legacy, and we're going to fight fervently with everything that we have to make her final fervent wish happen. That is what she would want us to do. She asked us to do it. She expects us to do it. And the next president will seat this next Supreme Court justice, not Trump. The Senate must not consider a nominee until after inauguration, and this is a fight we will win. We will be unrelenting and unbowed. We're going to vote, and we're going to get everyone else around us to vote, and to vote early. We're going to hold the hypocrites and the liars to account. We need a pro-civil rights Senate. We are going to vote like our lives depend on it. You know why? Because they do. As we mourn, we will honor the notorious RBG by fighting with all we've got for our democracy, our bodies, and our rights. We will not and we cannot let her down. So, are you going to stay strong? Yes. Are you going to stay safe? Yes. Are you going to stay fierce? Yes. Then repeat after me. We will fight. And we will win. Good night.
Yes.
Justice Ginsburg, rest in power and peace.
All right, all right. Let me hear it one more time. We will fight. We will fight. We will win. We will win. All right, next up we've got Fatima Goss-Graves from the National Women's Law Center.
Wow. I'm Fatima Goss-Graves. I lead the National Women's Law Center. And I have to tell you tonight, I'm feeling kind of heavy. I'm feeling kind of heavy because for those of us who are the first lawyers in our family who grew up in her legacy, we grew up knowing and understanding what Justice Ginsburg brought us. Generations of women in this country are feeling kind of heavy tonight. They're feeling kind of heavy because they know that she fought for reproductive freedom. They know that she fought for gender justice. They know that she fought for racial justice. And I'm feeling kind of heavy tonight because I'm thinking about what it meant for her to dream up a world that did not exist. To dream up at the ACLU Women's Rights Project the idea that the law could protect gender equally in this country at a time it did not exist. I think that's worth fighting for. I think her legacy is worth fighting for. I think our democracy is worth fighting for. So I still believe in the rule of law. I still believe that word matters. I still believe that our institutions, including this court behind us, matters. So much so that I'm willing to fight for it. We have a clear charge ahead of us. She let us know what was at stake, and she let us know what we had to do. You're going to hear things in the coming days and weeks that suggest our democracy is not that important, that suggest gender justice is not that important, that reproductive freedom is not that important. Well, it is all on the line. So I expect that you will all join hands with all of us together and you will vote. You will take your brothers and sisters to vote. You will vote early and you will fight. Will you fight? Will you fight? I'm ready to fight with you.
Thank you, Fatima. Please welcome Sabria Williams from She Will Rise.
My name is Sabria Williams, and I'm a member of the cohort for the She Will Rise campaign. I am also a wife and a mother and a champion for social justice. Tonight we are here to celebrate and honor an institution, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, always and forever the notorious RBG. She was a fighter not only for her life, but for all of our lives. She was fighting for our health. She was fighting for our dreamers, for our education, for our future, for our right to love who we want to love, and for our right to choose. As a woman, I needed her voice. I yearned for it. And as the She Will Rise campaign seeks to highlight the importance of new and different voices on the Supreme Court and in rooms that lead to those nominations, the voice of women of color, the voice of Black women. At her Senate confirmation hearing in 1993, Justice Ginsburg told the Judiciary Committee, "In my lifetime, I expect to see 3, 4, perhaps even more women on the high court bench. Women not shaped from my mold, from the same mold, but from different complexions." As Justice Ginsburg was the first Jewish American justice, we are leaning in on this campaign to nominate the first Black woman to the Supreme Court. We know that that will not happen if we do not honor her wishes and wait on the vote. That will not happen, I will repeat that, if we do not wait on this vote. Justice Ginsburg's wish was to wait. How is it that we have never had a Black woman on the bench, with Black women being the backbone of this democracy? I ask that question again. How is it that in over 230 years and counting, the Supreme Court has never had a Black woman on the bench? That is a question that we seek to answer every single day. As this nation grows more diverse, the imperative to change the status quo is more urgent than ever. In 230 years, there's never been a Black woman, but we are starting now to change that. No matter what issues you care about, you have to care about the Supreme Court. From health care to voting rights, to the dreamers, to police violence, to environmental justice, gun safety, the reproductive justice, the Supreme Court has the final say on all of those issues that we care so dearly about. If we don't have the right justices on the Supreme Court, any progress we make will be struck down. With so much at stake, now is the absolute right time to finally nominate the first Black woman to the Supreme Court. It is critical to the future of our communities, for all of our communities, not just Black communities. We deserve a Black woman nominee who is committed to ending police violence, protecting our voting rights, and making critical decisions that affect us every day. As we honor our RBG, her heroic efforts to provide a different perspective and create a more perfect union help us to ensure that her work lives on and get us to nominate a Black woman. As we know, it won't happen unless what? We hold the vote. We honor her wishes. Thank you. And let's go out and vote. And we're going to vote like our rights depend on it, because they do. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next up, we've got the senator from New York, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Look around. Look how many thousands of people are gathered here tonight to be one, to be focused on a woman who is not only an icon, not only a legend, but one of the greatest role models of our time. She went to law school when very few women worked outside of the home. She was one of hundreds of men in her class, one woman of hundreds of men to just push back against the reality of her time. She wanted to use the brains that God had given her to make a difference. She stood for all of us. She stood against discrimination in all its forms. She was someone who fundamentally understood the gifts that people had to give this country, regardless of their sex, regardless of their gender orientation, regardless of their race or background. She was a trailblazer. She took the law to places it had never been. Young girls and young boys today will wear her t-shirt. They read children's books about her. They know that she did something extraordinary in her lifetime. We may never see a jurist with the courage of Ruth Bader Ginsburg ever again. And this country is being torn apart by a president who seems to hate half of America, who seems to want this country to burn, who wants this country to be in sorrow. Everyone here has a role to play. Our voice is now more important than it has ever been in our lives. This next election is the moment, is the one moment when we can own our own democracy. President Trump will try to nominate another justice immediately. Mitch McConnell will be a willing participant. Mitch McConnell, who said last time, let the people decide. Mitch McConnell, who said we can't possibly put in a justice now until the election. I've never seen someone more duplicitous. Someone who does not mean what they say. Someone who will not do the right thing. Someone who does what's in his self-interest always. And someone who cultivates and seeks power at all costs. We can change this. We have an election in 2 months from now. And on election day, we will decide who has the balance of power in Washington. We will choose a new president. We will flip the U.S. Senate. When we flip the U.S. Senate, we will protect this court. We will protect this country. We will protect women's rights. We will protect LGBT rights. We will make sure transgender Americans have every right and privilege as every other American. We will not back down. We will not grow weary, and we will win. We will win. Say it again. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Yes, we will win. Thank you, Senator. Tonight we are joined by the All Souls Unitarian Choir. Please come on up. Give them a warm welcome.
Greetings, friends. It is an honor to be singing with and for community at all in this time, but especially in honor of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. In thinking about music to best honor this titan, I kept coming back to this quote: "Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you." Our first song urges that in this great turning, we must learn to lead in love. We'll then sing a prayer that so beautifully honors RGB's legacy. Let the life I've lived speak for me. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the way. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, the life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the way. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change, the life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the way. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived
Let the friends I've made speak for me. Let the friends I've made speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the friends I've made speak for me. Let the work I've done speak for me. Let the work I've done speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the work I've done speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Speak for me. When I've come to the end of this lay down my heavy load. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Speak for me.
Thank you so much.
Let the light that I live speak for me. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Joining us next is Nan Aaron, the president of Alliance for Justice.
Hello, my friends. It is wonderful to see all of you here tonight. I think we've been here before, though. I can see many of the very, very familiar faces time and time again. We've gathered at the Supreme Court. But tonight I want to share a very personal recollection of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As I sat in the hearing room when Ruth Bader Ginsburg had her confirmation hearing, I was reminded of my years at the ACLU. She ran the Women's Rights Project, and she was a formidable, strategic litigator. We were all in that office slightly intimidated by her, but grateful that we could learn from one of the best. She put her powerful intellect to work, which we had seen up close on the Supreme Court. And we couldn't have been prouder of her accomplishments. Her life's work helped men and women climb the ladder of opportunity, whether you were a teacher, a police officer, an activist in a nonprofit, a lawyer in a law firm. She made the world better, a better place for everyone, and allowed all of us, and I mean all of us, to fully participate in life's opportunities. Now, we see that her work, her progress, and her wonderful ideals that she stood for might be eroded. Donald Trump has told us that he wants justices who will overturn Roe versus Wade and the Affordable Care Act. Imagine what he's done so far with the Affordable Care Act. He put the lawyer who wrote the brief for the Justice Department seeking to overturn that act on the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. He put another judge on another court of appeals who referred to that wonderful act as perverse. And now he seeks to put judges and justices on all levels of our courts who will take away health care for millions of Americans. Just imagine in the middle of a pandemic where nearly 200,000 Americans will have lost their lives, this president will replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a justice who will pledge to overturn the Affordable Care Act. And that's not just the beginning. There's Roe versus Wade. Every issue that we here tonight care about hangs in the balance. Workers' rights, civil rights, women's rights, First Amendment freedoms. Everything is up for grabs in the Supreme Court. One of the most gratifying things we've seen is that people and progressives from all corners of this country are galvanized, and galvanized like never before to fight. Our phones are ringing off the hooks, people are sending emails, our candidates are speaking, and we here tonight will pledge to do the same. Is confirming Ruth Bader Ginsburg's successor, named by Donald Trump, a done deal? No. Is it a foregone conclusion? No. What will we do? What will we do? Let's go win this. Thank you all so much for what you've done and what you will do.
Please welcome Tamara Brummer from Demand Justice.
Gotta get myself together, y'all. How's everybody doing tonight? How y'all feeling? Are you glad to be here with each other? Yeah. I'm very glad to be here with you all tonight as well. My name is Tamara Brummer, and I'm with Demand Justice. I'm our Senior Advisor and Director of National Outreach and Engagement, but I'm also an organizer. And in moments like this, oh, excuse me, how about this? I was testing y'all. Make sure you were listening. So my name is Tamara Brummer, and I'm with Demand Justice. I have a title and all those other things, but I'm also an organizer. And in moments when they're the darkest, when I feel like one more blow is the blow that will take me out. Who knows that feeling? Who feels that tonight? Well, I'm going to tell you something. I am so thankful that you picked yourself up, that you took that breath, and you walked here, you got here, you biked here, however you got here. Thank you for being here tonight. Yeah. It's often hard I know it's hard these past few months, but I'm going to be real with you. It's often hard in this body, in this world, in this country, to walk in the darkness that is our nation. But when I feel the weakest, when I feel like there is no more breath to give, is when I come around you all as my community, as my comrades, as my partners, as my friends, as my allies. I see the potential. I see what we are doing. I see what we can do. So I thank you once again. We are in a moment when we often think that, we often feel like there's nothing more we can do. But that's not true. Things are not a coincidence. The universe does not believe in coincidence. The universe does not believe in mistakes. We are here tonight because we are ready to fight. Are you ready to fight? Yeah. There are forces at play that think that the courts should be only for the wealthy, for the elite, and a select few. But we are here to tell them that's not true. We have an opportunity. This is a moment. And I believe that we together can change that. Some will say that the courts will just be the way they are forever. I don't believe that. We have an opportunity. If they don't want to play by the rules, then we'll change the rules. When they formed this nation, when they said we the people, they had an asterisk by it, because I was not the people. But tonight, I'm here to tell you that we the people will protect and defend our courts and the honor and the legacy of RBG. Thank you all.
Please welcome Leah Greenberg from Indivisible.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here with you tonight. We're here today on the steps of the court to honor Justice Ginsburg. And for many women, we are quite literally where we are in our careers, in our lives, because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Made possible. Her brilliant leadership in the battles for women's rights shaped the country we grew up in. Her commitment as a Supreme Court justice to gender and racial equity, to a just democracy, was an inspiring light for a movement of women in a terrible time. When an icon passes, we mourn her, and we mourn with her family and those who loved her, and we honor her life. But we also recognize that her legacy is only beginning. It is going to echo for generations to come because we are going to fight for it. Since the news of her passing, I have been overwhelmed hearing from women across the country, from Indivisible leaders across the country, who are grieving, who are scared, and who are determined. They understand that her legacy lives on in all of us, and it lives on in the fight that we are waging right now. I know some of them are here tonight. I know there are events like this happening all across the country because we mourn for Justice Ginsburg, and we know what's at stake right now. Her dying wish was that the next president would fill her seat. She understood what we see tonight. The health, the well-being, the safety, the rights and dignity of our families and neighbors, they are at stake right now in the choice of the next Supreme Court justice. The future of our democracy is at stake, from the Affordable Care Act to voting rights, to LGBT rights, to the basic tenets of our democracy. It is all under threat. It is all up to us to ensure is protected. Now, are we going to let them force through a nominee while an election is literally happening? No! Are we going to allow Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump to decide who sits in Justice Ginsburg's seat? No! Are we going to get away with letting these Republican senators rubber stamp another right-wing hack to the Supreme Court? No. We're going to organize. All right, now, Justice Ginsburg fought all her life for the values that we hold dear, for justice, equality, democracy. Now, we fight for her to ensure that everything she believed is carried forward in the person who takes her seat. May her memory be a blessing. May her legacy be a just democracy for all of us.
Please welcome Jess Morales-Raquetto from National Domestic Workers Alliance.
What I think is underrated about RBG is she was a woman of great imagination. She imagined a world where women went to Harvard Law School. She imagined a world where her husband cooked dinner. She imagined a world where caregivers were paid for their work. She imagined a world where women were paid equally as men. She imagined a world where there were 9 women Supreme Court justices. So how does one woman change the world so much? She imagined what was possible. She had a vision, she had a purpose, and she just went after it. In front of us right now, there are only 2 paths. On one side, there is cynicism and relentless grabs of power and exclusion and fear. And on the other side is a vision of justice, of equality, of hope over fear, of unity over division, of faith. We can choose to give in to that cynicism. We can choose to be overwhelmed and scared and tired. We can choose to check out, or we can lean in. We can stick together, because you already know what time it is. It's time to fight. But I don't just want us to fight. Sometimes, we get a little caught up at the fight, and we forget about the next part of that phrase. It's to fight and win. But to fight and to win, you have to have courage. You have to have bravery. And you have to use your imagination. I want you to imagine the children I met at the border outside of a detention center. But instead of them inside a cage, I want you to imagine them free. I want you to imagine them reading a book. I want you to imagine them in a home, wrapped up in blankets, worried about what kids worry about. I want you to imagine the women that I work with, domestic workers who cook and clean and care for our elders. I want you to imagine them paid what they deserve. I want you to imagine their work is visible and they are treated as the leaders and amazing contributors that they are to our country and our economy. I want you to imagine protesters. I want you to imagine their black skin, and I want you to imagine that instead of being worried about dying, they only worry about how to live so big, how to live so much that they never have to go outside again. They can just worry about their regular lives. And now I want you to imagine the most important thing that I can imagine right now. I want you to imagine what it will be like when we go to the voting booth. I want you to picture who you're voting for on the ballot, not just at the top, but all the way down to the state houses and the state legislators and the municipal governments that will make sure that we can have those 9 women Supreme Court justices. We are good at fighting, but to win and to make the world that we imagine, we must believe that we can win. At the heart of imagination, at the heart of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is an unending optimism, a belief that if we fight, we will win. So I hope you'll say this with me now. And if you've been imagining with me, I hope you'll say it with your chest. Please repeat after me. I believe. I believe that. I believe that we. I believe that we will. I believe that we will win. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Next up, we've got Dana Gershon from the National Council of Jewish Women.
Shana Tova. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all who celebrate Rosh Hashanah. I'm Dana Gershon, president of the National Council of Jewish Women, a 127-year-old progressive Jewish social justice organization dedicated to improving the lives of women, children, and families. In 1993, having just finished my first year of law school, I walked into my house to find my normally gruff, curmudgeonly grandfather watching his little TV and beaming from ear to ear. Like many families descended from immigrants, we lived in a multi-generational household. I asked, "Grandpa, what's up? Why do you look so happy?" He turned to me, smile still wide on his face, tears in his eyes, and said, "Little Ruthie Bader made the Supreme Court." Grandpa knew Ruthie from Brooklyn, where she was my uncle's classmate at James Madison High School. In that moment, he felt the full pride of knowing that a girl from the old neighborhood was going to be seated on our nation's highest court. I never met Justice Ginsburg, but I, like so many of us, came to know her for her intellect, for her commitment to excellence, and for the values that permeated her work, including 27 years on the Supreme Court. And we mourn her passing, and we send prayers of strength to her family. That Justice Ginsburg died as the sun began to set, marking the onset of Rosh Hashanah, is in our Jewish tradition symbolic. We are told that only the truly righteous, those we need the most, pass on Rosh Hashanah, for we need them until the very last minute. Earlier, you heard the blast of the shofar, and actually, and you can't make this stuff up, that first one that you heard belonged to Grandpa. The shofar is blown on Rosh Hashanah as a literal wake-up call to the Jewish people. It is a signal that we need to act to work toward bettering ourselves and healing the world around us. Hearing that blast here, in this place, tonight, is a reminder of the legacy Justice Ginsburg leaves behind and the values for which she stood. Chief among them, equal protection of the laws, and what it means for the most vulnerable among us, including women, children, and families. I would be remiss if I did not mention dissent. Justice Ginsburg understood its role and its power. On those occasions where she believed the decisions of the court did not align with her values, she used dissent to make her voice heard and to provide a roadmap of direction for others. Her powerful dissenting opinion in Ledbetter v. Goodyear gave Congress a roadmap to pass the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, moving the needle on gender pay equity. Again, equal protection of the laws. As a Jewish woman, Justice Ginsburg was quite familiar with the words from the book of Deuteronomy, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, justice, justice you shall pursue. She lived these values, and her commitment to this edict was unwavering. Even as we mourn, we must hear the blast of the shofar and remember that it is on all of us to pursue justice in her stead. It is on all of us to pursue justice in her stead. We are grateful for the life of Justice Ginsburg. We grieve with her family and with our country. And we commit this Rosh Hashanah, called to action as the new year begins, to work and to act to further the legacy that she has left for us. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Please welcome Becky Pringle with the National Education Association.
Can I just say, the view from up here is magnificent. If women want any rights more than what they got, why don't they just take them and not be talking about it? Clearly, those powerful words by Sojourner Truth reflect Ruth Bader Ginsburg's lifelong fight for justice. Good evening. I am Becky Pringle, president of the National Education Association, the largest labor union in this country. As a woman, as an American of African descent, as the mother of a gay child, I must in this moment not only offer my condolences to the family of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but I must also give deep thanks on behalf of the people at those intersections whose rights have historically and systematically been denied. Those humans who owe Justice Ginsburg a debt of gratitude and honor and unapologetic activism. Those three letters, R-B-G, evoke pride and joy, resilience and determination, purpose and power. A legacy laced with amazing accomplishments, compassion and love, and a brilliance that created and interpreted laws that moved us closer to that aspirational vision of America. We've lost a giant, small in stature but monumental in her advocacy. Justice Ginsburg laid the foundation for equal rights for women and girls, for all of us. And now here we are, in the midst of the most consequential election in the life of this democracy. We must mourn her passing by fighting with all we have to preserve her legacy of equality and opportunity in the midst of this confluence of crises which has shined a light again on the deep racial and social inequities in this country. We know we have a choice to make. Will we let our country continue to look away from the horrors of a pandemic that has taken almost 200,000 precious lives? Will we look away from a country that has disproportionately devastated Black and brown and indigenous communities? Will we let our country continue to avoid the necessary work to reform policing and criminal justice and healthcare and to transform our public education system into a racial and socially just system designed to let every child, everyone live into their brilliance? Will we let our White House continue to be diminished by an occupant who every day shows his callous disregard for the lives of Americans who are suffering under the weight of economic justice? Will we? No. Let our answer be that resounding no every day until November 3rd. We will not let this country be led by people who embrace. We will not let our country be led by people who do not embrace those first three not words of our Constitution. That's right, you got it. We, the people, it's we, it's all of us, women and men, gay and straight, transgender, non-binary, Black, white, brown, API, indigenous, differently abled. It's we the people, all of us, everyone has the right to pursue happiness, to be fully human. Just like the woman we honor this evening, we will stand in our power and demand what's right until the people have spoken. There can be no consideration of a new Supreme Court justice to replace our beloved Ruth. None. We must send a message that if you don't believe in us, then from the House of Representatives to the U.S. Senate to the White House, we are coming for your jobs. We're coming. And we will get everyone who likes us or loves us or intends to keep living with us to vote and to volunteer and to rise and resist. Because we know that the arc of the universe doesn't bend on its own. We have to bend it toward justice. It has to be us. We will lift up each other and we will not falter. We will lift up our voices and we will not give in. We will lift up this country and we will not give up our fight for justice. RBG's legacy demands nothing less from us. And let me tell you one more thing. our children, our babies are depending on us to be worthy of them. Onward! Onward! Onward!
Yes, yes. Come on, give it up for Becky Pringle. We got work to do, good people. We got work to do. Joining us next is Neera Tandon from the Center for American Progress.
This is such a beautiful night in such a dark time. I am thrilled to be with so many leaders and to be with so many people who are going to make the difference. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, many people have said this, was an icon. But why was she an icon? Because she faced deep discrimination for who she was, a woman. And then she spent her life to erase that discrimination with every fiber of her being. And every woman and every person here lives a life that is more equal because of her and her work and her fight. We are all indebted to her for her vision, her advocacy, her grit, and the fight she gave every day. You know, 2020 has been hard. Understatement. We have lost two trailblazers, icons, leaders, John Lewis and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Both who fought and sweat, and in John Lewis's case, bled for all of our rights. Now, people who know me, I know that I can be a little candid and a little forceful. So let me say, the horrifying tragedy of this moment is that a man who was credibly accused of assaulting 20 or so women would have the temerity to name the replacement of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. No way! Are we going to let that happen? No way! Are we going to let the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg be so marred by Donald Trump's replacement? No! Are we going to permit Mitch McConnell to have his way minutes after we find out that her dying words were that the next president should pick her replacement? Mitch McConnell says no. I don't care what you want. I don't care about democracy. I don't care about my view 4 years ago. All I care about is raw power. Why? Because they have been plotting for years to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Because they have waited and waited to kill the Affordable Care Act. That is what is at stake. And the injustice of Donald Trump, this person who is an autocrat, who undermines our democracy, picking the next justice, I can't stand for it. Can you? No! Are we going to stand by, or are we going to fight? Fight! Are we going to watch what happens, or are we going to organize? Are we going to agonize, or are we going to organize? Are we going to organize just ourselves or our friends and neighbors to vote? Okay, that one was a little tough. But what is at stake for all of us is not just this seat. It is our democracy. It is our dignity. It is whether America represents all of us and treats all of us equally, or finally they get their way. They overturn Roe. They make America just for a few. And I stand with you to fight like hell for the country that is all of ours. Are we going to fight? Yes. Are we going to vote? Yes. Are we going to fight? Yes. Are we going to vote? Thank you all very much.
All right. Please welcome Gracia Martinez Rosas from United We Dream.
What's up, fam? How are ya? You're good? You ready? My name is Gracia Martinez Rosas. I am undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed. And no matter what Donald Trump says, I am here to stay. I am proud to serve as the executive director of United We Dream Action. What's up? Where's United We Dream at? Tonight, we pause. We pause on the battlefield for our liberation. We pause to remember with admiration and gratitude the lioness, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We all lost a powerful ally. We all lost an ally in the fight for justice. She was the daughter of an immigrant. She was the notorious RBG. She was an inspiration to countless young women like me, immigrants, the dreamers out there like you all. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was resilient and tenacious, pushing back against the grip of the patriarchy. RBG was an advocate for gender justice, and during her time as the Supreme Court Justice, she helped advance the rights of millions. And I am one of them. I am one of over 700,000 DACA recipients, undocumented young people. And under the threat of the Trump attack, under the threat of white supremacy, undocumented young people and our families, we took our fight right to the Supreme Court behind us. And guess what, fam? Because of you, because of the courage of undocumented people everywhere, we won at the Supreme Court. RBG stood by us, and we'll stand by her vision. My friends, we are at war. Collectively, we're at a war for the future of our democracy. And like in all American wars, politicians position black and brown bodies to die first. Death by COVID, death by cops or ICE agents, death by underground abortions. For some of us, more than others, this is a fight for our lives. So today we pause on this battlefield to remember that justice is in our history and that victory is in our destiny. But we only pause for a moment because we know that the super rich who make their money from burning the planet to building prisons, from twisting information with Fox News or Facebook, are bankrolling Donald Trump's artillery. Motivated by greed and fear, they don't sleep. They never have. And in just 40 days is Election Day. And right now, people are turning in their early voting ballots. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Everyone who can vote must vote. And everyone else must ensure that every voter they know can cast a ballot towards freedom. Sisters and brothers, the stakes are high. And as we saw in Portland and in Chicago, the present-day reality of undocumented people like me could be the future reality of all people of principle, whether you're a citizen or not, unless we stop them. The white supremacist private army of ICE and CBP swept our streets of anyone who would disagree with Trump. It's not hyperbole. We all saw it. Just imagine what we are capable of, what they would be capable of in a second term with an expanded Supreme Court. Will we let that happen? No. Sisters and brothers, I have no doubt that we can defeat them. I have no doubt that we are on to victory. We have stepped up to the fight. And today, in this country, on this city block, there is a thriving multiracial mass movement. You can feel it. Rumbling in the pavement underneath you. I want you to plant your feet on the ground right now. I want you to look up to the sky. Look up to your neighbor. We're marching together. We're marching together. And sisters and brothers, we have come too far. We will not turn around. We will flood the streets with justice because we are freedom bound. And as we say goodbye to our sister Ruth, we recommit ourselves to fight for justice for the immigrant, justice for queer people, to follow the leadership of Black people wherever they may take us, and to ensure that in this country, the legacy of the people on this ground, the story that the people next to us will say about us, is that when there was a fight, we did not shrink. When there was a fight, we held on to the discipline of hope. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. We have come too far. We won't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice. We are freedom bound. We have come too far. We won't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice. We are freedom bound. One more time, and I want you to ground yourself in the future that we're building for our people, for our children, and for ourselves. Are you ready? Yeah. We have come too far. We won't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice. We are freedom bound. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Please welcome Ben Jealous to the stage. People for the American Way.
Well, good evening. My name is Ben Jealous. I'm the former national president of the NAACP, and I am proud to be president of People for the American Way. I'm here tonight with my daughter and her buddy and my son. We have a tradition. When great heroes like Ruth Bader Ginsburg die, when they pass on, we pray for the dead. And then, as Mother Jones taught us, we fight like hell for the living. We pray for the dead, and then we fight like hell for the living. In not 2 months' time, behind those doors, there will be arguments about ending protections for pre-existing conditions. Let me be clear. COVID-19 is a pre-existing condition. Mitch McConnell, President Trump, they want to take away the health care coverage of millions of our sisters and brothers in the middle of a health pandemic. Justice Ginsburg knew that. She fought for her life, that she was not just fighting for her life. She was fighting for her ability to protect the lives of tens of millions of her fellow Americans. And so I'll be short tonight. Senator Tillis, Senator Gardner, Senator Ernst, and yes, flip-flopper Lindsey Graham.
Group, and we are so honored to be here to honor the legend that is RBG. Thank you for having us.
All right. Let's give it up one more time for Song Rise. Y'all, I had to take a beat. That song just sat with me for a second. We will rise up. Rise like the day. We will rise up. Anybody feeling that tonight? You ready to rise up tonight? And every day from now until November 3rd and beyond? Come on, let's rise up together. Please welcome Patrice Lawrence from UndocuBlack.
When immigrants' rights are under attack, what do we do? One more time. When immigrants' rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? When women's rights are under attack, what do we do? When women's rights are under attack, what do we do? Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrice Lawrence. I'm the co-director of UndocuBlack Network. We're a network of folks who are Black and undocumented all across this country. Tonight, we honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a daughter of an immigrant, which she never failed to say. She understood her legacy. She understood where she came from, and she understood her purpose as justice at this Supreme Court. She ruled with the value of human dignity that some people who hold office on that side apparently have none of. As soon as the news broke that RBG had passed away, together with the condolences, Senator McConnell decided to show how two-faced he can be. We remember in the last year of Obama's presidency when he would not allow a vote to fill the vacancy of Supreme Court justice. But now he says he will. Will we stand for it? No. Will we stand for it? No. We will fight back. Ruth Bader Ginsburg told us about dissent. She dissented on things that she did not agree with. This court put shame on itself, agreeing with Trump to the Muslim ban. The Muslim ban affects half